Hello and welcome to the Gadgetz channel with me, Van UK, and today we're playing Astroneer, and this is the third part of our big base build. So we're back on our main planet and let's get on with it. As you can see, I've got quite a nice little stockpile of goods here, so hopefully I've got everything I need from the other planet to build the last remaining bits and pieces. So let's have a quick check, and we go here. No, we go there. Here, there, and everywhere. So we need. So I've definitely got those. We're not particularly bothered about the centrifuge, but I will build one anyway. And we definitely need the chemistry lab, for which we have ceramic. And we have some glass in the form of quartz, but it's unrefined at the moment. And we finally have some tungsten. Then, with the atmospheric condenser, we need iron, which we have, and some glass once again, quartz, plastic. And that's where we come a bit of a cropper, because we're going to need to build the chemistry lab first. And then the trade platform, for which we have tungsten, iron, and compound. So, we should be good to go. I'll build some platforms and I'll get it set up and we can have a look at it. Now here we have the chemistry lab. I've got a few platforms, as you can see, set up ready for the platforms that are ready to come, and we're just going to deploy this one here and turn it around so it's facing me. There we go. Now the chemistry lab, it gives us our next set of advancements in technology, as it were, because with this we're able to produce the resources that we need by combining one resource and another, and sometimes some gases as well. So what I mean by that is looking at the atmospheric condenser, we need plastic. Now, you can't gather plastic, so you need to make it. So, looking at this, we then go, what do we need to make plastic? And for that we need carbon and compound. Now thankfully we have compound, and it doesn't need a gas. There's nothing in between the two. Normally if there's a gas required, it would say there, fuel, hydrogen, but we don't. For this, we just need carbon and compound. Now, carbon's easy to get as well, because you just take organic materials, these things, organic, and you burn them and turn them into carbon. So grab some compound, some of that, and what we do is we go into there, we go, I want to create some plastic. And we chug away. Take those two resources in. So in effect what you're doing is swapping in two resources for the result of one, and then we have some plastic, and now we have everything we need to build the atmospheric condenser. Because I've got some glass, I brought back some iron, so the glass is quartz that's been smelted, so it's on my backpack, and some iron. There we go. So just grab the plastic, and now we should be able to make the atmospheric condenser. Now the atmospheric condenser is yet again the next line in the chain. So for this, on this particular planet, we should be able to gather hydrogen. So what that means is it will then start, if we put it on one of these things, you select a gas and say I want that gas, it will sit there and start churning that gas out into a gas bottle. Each bottle, each sort of container has 5 charges of gas in it. So let's grab that. And when I say quickly, the word quickly doesn't actually come in it. So there, and unpack it. And yeah, so there we go. So hydrogen. Now, different planets produce different gases. So this planet I can get hydrogen, Can't get argon, can't get methane, but I can get nitrogen, can't get sulfur or helium, so it's just the two. So what you do is you say, yeah, I want that, and it will sit there and chug away, condensing the gas until it creates a bottle. Then once it creates a bottle, it will fill it up to 5, and then it will knock it off and carry on again. There we go. So it's got one charge, of which there is 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4 to go. And that's what you use in here in the chemistry lab when you're doing something that says you need a fuel of hydrogen. So ammonium and ammonium, hydrogen creates hydrazine. And luckily enough, hydrazine is what we need for our hydrazine rockets. Now, at the moment, now that we've come back to our other planet, you can see it's a used solid fuel thruster. It's no good, I can't use it anymore. If I want to get off planet, I either need to make another one, or I need to create a hydrazine thruster. So, let's take a look at that. So, that's assuming I've actually brought it, which I probably haven't. Let's go down. I think it's this one. Or not. That one. It's there somewhere. I know they're there somewhere. Thrusters. There is. Right, so I need tungsten. Thankfully I've got some of that. But now I need titanium. I don't have any titanium. I certainly don't have any titanium alloy. And to make titanium alloy, I'm going to need the chemistry lab. So, what do I need to make titanium alloy? To make titanium alloy, I need titanium, graphene, and nitrogen. But, you know, graphene, I don't have any graphene. So how do you make graphene? Graphene is graphite and hydrazine. It's like, so in order to make hydrogen, I need 2 hydrogen and 2 ammonium. So you've got to make the hydrazine in order to make the titanium alloy, which you then use to make the rocket thruster, and then you need more hydrogen. So it's going to take me a while, but look, it's finished. Look, it's already done one. That's handy. Just doing the second one. So what I'll do is, when that finishes off, I'll change it over to nitrogen, get a couple of nitrogen done. So then at least I've got a couple of bottles of gas sitting there waiting for me. But then I'm going to need to do this on other planets in order to get the gases specific to that planet, such as sulfur, methane, and helium, to build other things that require it. So, guess what I'm going to be doing? Right, I'll be back when I've been off to bases. I'll show you the bases and the different places when I've got everything I need together to build a hydrazine rocket thruster. You may see another pile of them somewhere. I may even take a look at the shredders first, because I think with the shredders on this base, the medium shredder, 2 iron, I think I've got 2 iron. I'll build the soil as well, because I might be able to get iron out of that, I'm not sure. So you've got the medium shredder and you've got the large shredder, which are tungsten carbide, and 2 iron. There, I can see that I'm going to spend a lot more time. Let's cancel that. A lot more time going from other planets and building other bases. Right, I'll get all of that together. I will show you the bases and all the rest of it, and where I'm getting my fuel from, and we'll take it from there. See you soon. So as we move forward, here I am at a new base on the ice planet Glacio, and as you can see, I've got quite a nice set of titanium there and some iron, which I'll be taking back, and I've also set up the atmospheric condenser, so I'm getting the one and only gas this place produces, which is argon. So I'll take a couple of those back with me, and as much titanite as I can probably carry. But this in itself presents a few new interesting problems, and this happens on other planets as well. Whereas trying to actually get the raw titanite to turn into titanium has been a bit of a job. And the reason for that is some of the ground on this planet and on other planets is unminable with your tool. You can't. It just doesn't happen. It just sits there and does nothing, and the titanite or whatever resource you're trying to get just stays there. So I've been lucky enough to find enough to get quite a bit, and I can always come back and get more. But I shall show you what I mean. So bear with me, and we'll cut to the titanite. So after a bit of a run and a jolly jaunt down a few slides, finally we come across one of the titanite veins, and titanite looks like this spiky green sort of crystal structure, I guess. And you'll see the difference. Now this area I actually managed to get quite a bit out, and I can actually mine that slowly, you see. But then this stuff down here, that's that bit there, that darker blue, it's just not going anywhere. I cannot mine it. So it's this stuff there. So there is that dark stuff down there. You see this light grey stuff on the top is deforming and being taken away, whereas the blue stuff underneath, it is just not being touched. And quite a lot of the resources that you want, such as titanium, are embedded in stuff like that. Now luckily it's not always the case. Sometimes you can sort of wangle it so that you can get some oxygen, because the amount of times I've died on this planet is ridiculous. However, it's worth noting that the plants that give research, they are giving about 350 in resource. So I've got the bottom there. And can I just snag that quickly? Oh yeah. So every now and again they just pop off like that, and it's like it's only in one eye. So I haven't even got a complete crystal for that. Right, so let me just quickly show you these ones over here. So I'll just scan it. 327, 329. On Earth I was getting about 39 for those. So the only real way to get lots and lots of titanite or anything that's embedded in those rocks is to use one of the drills, and that means perhaps using see the drills, and that means putting it on the on a rover, which means you need to have the crane, which is a level 3 mod, I believe. Yeah, there it is, the crane. So that will sit on the back of it, and you can only do that with a large rover. And of course, you need titanium and silicon and steel. So, interestingly to have to get that, but you can get some without those. Right, so back up to the surface then. Okay, so back at the surface, I'll gather the bits and pieces together that I'm going to take with me, the titanite and some of those gas bottles. But there's one else thing I really need to mention, and that is this planet has been absolutely rich with research. Not just these ones lying about, but these things here. Now I got those out of those sort of like triangular drop things, so these things over here, and pretty much each one of those had in it one of those there, this research item, and each one of those was worth 7,400 in research. And as you can imagine, I've done pretty well out of it, because I now have 52,000 bytes to spend on all of the tech and blueprints that I could ever want. So before I leave, I'm just going to leave that one going, and that'll give me another 7,000 once that one's finished. And this one that's currently on there was worth 1,200. These other ones, these mineral ones, which are all over the place, and I mean in abundant, all over the place. I've got 4 or 5 of them over there. They're worth about 1,200 as well. So it is well worth setting up the research chamber, or perhaps a couple of them, and getting them going, so you get plenty of research in. As it happens, I haven't needed to, because I've been dying left, right and centre, and getting lost and spending a lot of time just running around. It's been a nightmare. But still, I've got everything I need, so I'll gather that up and get back to our home planet. Back on our main planet and our main base, we now have pretty much everything we need to create ourselves a hydrazine rocket booster. So, okay, the first thing we need to do, and let's work this backwards. So, titanium alloy. So, I need graphene. To make graphene, I need graphene. I need hydrazine and graphite. Well, I've got the graphite, but I don't have the hydrazine. So, to make hydrazine, I need 2 ammonium. So that's that, and some hydrogen, which is that. Right. So, just like a microwave going ping. We now have some hydrazine. Okay, so let's take that off of there. Dump it down there. Right, so we now have hydrazine. So we can now, with our hydrazine, make graphene. So we need the hydrazine and the graphite. Of course, hydrazine is also the fuel you need, so you're going to have to make more of that. Ping. Okay, lovely jubbly. And so we now have graphene. Right, so we now need have the graphene. So we have the graphene, we have the titanium, we need the nitrogen, which is that one. And graphene. And bing! There we go. Oops. Titanium alloy. So we finally have some titanium alloy after all that hard work. Now, what do I need to do to make a hydrazine? And this is what the end game was. For us at the moment was the hydrazine thruster. So I need 1 titanium alloy and 1 piece of tungsten, which hopefully I still have kicking about somewhere. That's aluminium. Tungsten, there we go. I knew I've got some somewhere. So finally, I have a hydrazine thruster, but of course I need ammonium, 2 lots of ammonium to get it. Now, luckily enough, I don't have to go too far, because if I go and mine enough soil and fill up the soil converter will actually give me ammonium. So if I'm on a planet where I can't get any, or like where I am, It doesn't. I haven't really seen any in great abundance at all. Just a few sprigs here and there. I can use a soil converter to get me some, so I can make 6 of those by churning the soil into it, and then I can use those to create the hydrazine that I need. That will be the rocket booster. So what we'll do is unpack that, and then once we have some hydrazine, we can just tack it on the side there, that nubble there. I thought I might have some, but just lying around, probably not. So I shall make some and get 3 lots on there, because that is now a reusable booster. So now what I can do, of course, now I've got that, is I can now make 2 titanium alloys to make the large shuttle. So I'm not particularly worried about the medium one, but I might build one just to see what it looks like, because I've not seen one before. But I can salvage the bits I need off the little one, like the oxygenator and obviously the thruster, and put it on either of those 2, and then either of those 2 are working rockets for me. Now obviously the larger one carries a lot more, and I can bring more goods with me and take more goods away, so that's the advantage. Whereas I think the medium, I think the way that it works is, having seen the large and the small one doesn't have any cargo space, whereas the medium probably has a couple of hard points that you can put things onto, whereas the large one has several hard points. I'll make them and we'll have a look at them. So first I need to buy them, and then get together 2 titanium alloys and 1 aluminium alloy. And once I've done that, we'll have a look at them. Right, okay, so I now have everything I need to build the 2 shuttles, the medium and the large. Right, so the medium uses a medium aluminium alloy. Both are printed on the large printer, and there we go, print. So it extends quite a way when it's done. And you look at the small shuttle and then consider it's going to be bigger than that, and then bigger again with the large one. So if only things were made this way. Oh, they do with 3D printing. Interestingly enough, the 3D printing process has come on leaps and bounds in the last 5 years, from small items up to cars and houses. Okay, so that's going to extend just a little bit more, because what you're seeing there is the cargo area, which you don't get on the small shuttle, of course. What I'll do is I'll just move this small shuttle around. Let's put it over there. I can't walk with it, but I can dump it down just there. That's what I'll do, is I'll arrange them slightly. So I've got some unboxing to do over there as well. Oh no, it's not. It's a massive box, look at that. I'm doing an unboxing video. There you go, so you've got a couple of bits where you can put some of those medium storage bits, and have. So let's try that out. I haven't actually seen this in action. Medium storage. I've got a medium storage kicking around somewhere that I'm not using. If not, I might have to make one. Or just pinch that one off of there quickly, because let's just take it. See if that fits in there, because it should. There you go. You can fit 2 of those in it and carry up to 8 different items. I should imagine you could put other different types of storage in there as well. I haven't got any to try. We could try that at a later date. But what we now need to do is grab the titanium and build the large shuttle. There it is. There, that's massive. I do have some hydrazine. Okay. That should be enough to get us off planet and somewhere else if should I need to. If not, I can always get some more hydrazine. There we go. Fits on there, and that is now ready to go. So you're probably wondering what I'm planning on doing with this over here. Well, these are the 2 rovers. These are the tractor and the buggy. So what I'm planning on doing is getting the other 2 rovers out there, and I wonder what this ramp might be for. So that'll be in a different video. Right, come on. Oh, for goodness sakes. You could be a bit faster. You have all the power you need. Wind turbines are going. You have battery power. You have sun power even, several of those. And being powered by the shelter. As you can see, once again, cargo doors. And you should be able to fit bigger containers in there, so I would imagine things like that, the extra large storage, or not the solar array, but that one, the large storage as well. Should be able to get those in there, I would imagine. Yeah, just there, mate. Okay, so I would imagine that the larger rocket would use more hydrazine fuel than the small and the medium one. So you may find that the large rocket drains an entire tank, whereas the small one only drains a small bit. Because in my other game that I've been playing, I've been all over the place in the shuttle. I've got 3 tanks under there. I've hardly got through the first one. Oh, there we go. It's a massive box. And plonk that down there. And there you can see just the difference. And the amount of storage you get in the large one is obviously huge in comparison, which means you can take quite a few different boxes with you if you really wanted to. Some of the bigger platforms, if you wanted to create them here, take them with you and get them set up on another planet. Something that would perhaps be one of these, a shelter, so that when you go to another planet you've immediately got a shelter built there. And you would need the oxygenator, of course, so that one, and then you'll also need, I believe it's a tier 2 item, the RTG, which is the power supply on the side, 10,000 bytes. It's quite a difficult one to get, and it's the nanocarbon alloy as well, which is the most difficult thing to make on the chemistry lab. So, okay, so there we have it. A base and the will to travel anywhere we like. on any planet and transport cargo as we wish. I think that concludes our third part of the base build, and I think that covers pretty much everything except for one last item, and that is shredders. I'm not going to cover it too much because it's basically a case of building a shredder, putting on a platform, and then feeding it with debris that you find around on the planet. But there are two of them. You have the medium shredder, which is 2 iron, and then you have the big one there, which takes tungsten carbide, made by the chemistry lab, and 2 iron. And that takes larger items. And what they produce is actually produce like a scrap, and then you use that scrap on the trade platform. And then, depending on what you've asked the trade platform to do, so you trade 1 piece of scrap for 2 compounds, or 1 or 2 resin for 1 piece of scrap, or organic, or clay, quartz, graphite, ammonium, probably the most useful if you're getting through a lot of hydrazine. Lacerite, that's useful, that's aluminium. Malachite, wolframite, okay, so 3 pieces of scrap for 2 pieces of wolframite, that's not too bad. Hematite, which is iron. Sapphirite, which is zinc. Titanite, yeah, that's 2 for 1. That's quite expensive as it goes. Lithium's quite a useful one, because you use lithium to make batteries, but that's a 4 to 1, so you need 4 pieces of scrap for 1 piece of lithium. But lithium in itself, if we take a look at some of the bigger batteries just here, just takes 1 piece of lithium. It's the RTG only takes 1 piece of lithium, so you don't really need that much. I mean, you could just build but it's obviously the nanocarbon alloy that's the stickler for that one. The medium battery is by far more useful, and zinc's a much more readily available commodity. Okay, so that pretty much covers everything we need to do with our base. So obviously rovers, we'll cover that in a separate video, and see how they go over terrain, and obviously make good use of that ramp. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you haven't subscribed, then hit the subscribe button. Join us, you know you want to. Keep up to date with our videos, and if you want me to look at a game in particular, then get in touch on the comments below, and I'll get back to you. If I can review it, I will. Until the next time, bye bye.